The one thing I want to say about fear is that fear is just in your head. All the things you're afraid of is your mind creating scenarios that don't even exist in reality. Whatever you are fearing in your head or afraid of in your head, that is the direction you must go to what? Overcome the fear. You got to rewire your brain to think, what if it goes right? What if I'm ever afraid of, I go do it and I'm right? And that leads to another, what if I do it again and I'm right again? And I'm right, and I'm right, and I'm right. That builds confidence. Building that block one by one by one, 1% better every day or more. That's all about running into whatever you're afraid of doing and just doing it. It happens. It's in the past. We keep going. That's it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the N2N podcast. I'm your host, Dr. N2N, also known as the Ninja Prolific Ninja by my family and friends and all my socials. And because my fans and my friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the N2N podcast, the alpha to the omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, success, self-improvement, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. Man, it has been a smorgasbord buffet of life this year so far, and it is only going to ramp up into the end of the year. Back in the studio, before I get into the content, I'm going to start the episode as I start every episode, as I start every day, which is when I wake up in the morning. I give thanks to God and the universe for another day to hopefully be great, live to my fullest controllable potential, inspire just one person, if only just one person, to live to their fullest controllable potential, because that's the whole premise of the show that we've been recording now for 3.5 years on a weekly basis, which is trying to inspire billions across the planet to live to their fullest controllable potential. And you are a part of that, because we do this show on my own dime, on my own time. I choke the checks, send the money, production team puts the content together, long and short form, all for free for you. And so we cannot grow the show, which we are continually to grow the show, without your help. And we do this on a karmic exchange. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, or if you're new to the podcast, I believe in the whole, karmic balance of the universe. Everything balances out at the end. So if I'm giving you this energy for free knowledge, free game, free ways to inspire and help you reach your potential, then you owe me a karmic debt. And I don't want that debt. I don't want that. I don't want you to owe me, because that sticks me here having to collect that from you. So I'd rather you repay me by sharing this episode, sharing all the episodes to whoever you want to help them get inspired and improve their lives. I like to say we restore the karmic balance by, if your knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow. And hopefully your knowledge will grow today. Or if any of these episodes help grow your knowledge, you're obligated karmically to share the show. Or you can send me money, either one. And I'll maybe post my Venmo or PayPal or whatever one of these days. But please do share the show. That's how we grow. So if you're knowledge swole, share the show. That is how we grow. We're recording this on a Tuesday. However, by the time this episodes, it'll be Halloween Eve, right? Thursday the 30th. And, what did we all enjoy about Halloween besides kids, even to today? Dressing up in costume, trick-or-treating. Back then, it was candy. Now, as an adult, it's, whatever the rave party is. But it was a lot built around the theme of fear, right? As a kid, we wanted to be startled, haunted houses, scary movies, costumes, gory costumes, fun costumes. Just the whole idea of centered around the idea of fear, even though you're celebrating Day of the Dead or whatever the historical aspects of Halloween was, in the pagan deities or whatever it is. But as a youth, it was always built around fear. And fear as a business concept is very important, because I think fear prevents a lot of people from actually extending themselves in order to achieve what they really want to achieve deep down in their hearts. And it's a fear of a lot of things. It could be fear of unknown, fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear of feeling inadequate, right? Fear of learning something new and failing and not getting it right. Fear of what other people think. There's just a lot of fear around doing things outside of your comfort zone in order to grow and expand your life. And the thing is, my friends, is that you cannot succeed in life without overcoming this fear aspect, right? But the one thing I want to say about fear is that fear is it's just in your head. All the things you're afraid of is your mind creating scenarios that don't even exist in reality. And I'll give you an example. This goes back to when I was a kid, and maybe I'm a Gen X guy, so maybe this doesn't exist these days. But back when I was little, when I'm a youngest of 4 boys, so we used to sleep paired up in rooms, and then my parents became more successful. Then we each had our own room. And as a kid, the first time I had a room by myself, I was in elementary school. I can't remember the exact age, but I was scared to sleep by myself because I always have been sleeping with my youngest older brother, right? So we were paired up. The whole boogeyman in the closet thing, the whole boogeyman hiding underneath the bed. It used to be, we used to tell each other stories like when you go to sleep, if you have like an appendage hanging over the side of the bed, it'll get chopped off in the middle of the night. So I would go to bed all burritoed up so that I wouldn't have a leg poke out, over the side of the bed or my arm poking out over the side of the bed. But it's the same exact analogy as today. All that fear, obviously the boogeyman in that context doesn't exist, right? It was all in my head as a kid. It was like there's nobody underneath the bed going to cut my arm off. But it was in my head at the time. The fear of these things that don't even exist, it's unknown. Same thing is with the fear of failure, right? You get over the fear of these things by just going headfirst into them. Whatever you fear, there's a great book, I referenced it a couple episodes ago, The Obstacle is the Way. Whatever you are afraid of is an indicator that for many times you should go that way. And I'm talking about business, not in real life. Like if there's a dark alleyway and you're not comfortable walking down the dark alleyway, don't go down the dark alleyway. I'm talking about life, okay? Like business principles, success, and all that. Whatever you are fearing in your head or afraid of in your head, that is the direction you must go to what? Overcome the fear. So, for example, if you have a fear of failure, the key here is that you must run into what you're afraid of failing through and fail. If you succeed, great. If you fail, you fail. But failure, there's an expression I use a lot. You fail up. Failure, if you learn from it, you're actually succeeding. You're on the pathway to success by failing up. So if you're afraid of failure in something new you want to expand into, go in that direction. If you have a fear of talking to strangers, right? Because you got to sell something in order to be successful. So learning to talk to strangers is a fundamental element of success. If you have a fear of talking to strangers, go up and start talking to strangers. Of course it's going to feel uncomfortable. Of course it's going to feel awkward. Of course you're going to stumble over words. Of course you might say something stupid. But that's part of learning how to talk to strangers. So run in that direction. If there's a fear of embarrassment, okay, think of a trigger that flips the script. Hey, I'm okay with being embarrassed because no one else is doing this, and that's why I'm going to win at the end of the day. If you have a fear of what other people think, the reality is who cares about the judgment of others who are not understanding your path. You see, not everybody is built for success, and so the opinions of people that don't strive for success, what would they matter anyways to you? In fact, I will tell you a secret. If you put yourself out there, the opinions that do matter are people that are also successful. But it's rare you'll find a successful person hating on others because they know they've been through it. They understand how hard and how much work is involved with being a success. So if they see you putting yourself out there to try and be successful, it's more likely than not you'll get admiration from them rather than hate or negativity. And those are the opinions that matter, actually, not the people that don't even, it's easy to hate when you're not in the game. Think of all the sports fans that aren't actually playing in the game, spewing hate, right? That's what it is. But if you put them on the field, they'll get the ass kicked. Same situation, right? What other fears are there? I mean, fear of, falling on your face, that's fear of failure. All of these elements is that the fear component is entirely a figment of your imagination that does not exist. And why is this? Well, fundamentally, our brains at the core are reptilian brains. There's a small segment, actually, there's a whole legal, in the legal world, there's a whole psychological warfare as a trial lawyer around what's called the reptile theory, which means you're trying to appeal to the emotions of the jury. So look it up. It's a fantastic understanding of human thought and human decision making. But we have a reptilian brain at the core of our brain, which is basically fight or flight. We're going to attack or we're going to slither away. And that's fundamentally what it is. And so what happens is that the imagination of the fear factor in your brain is an element of that. Hey, I'm going into an unknown scenario. I need to observe, is it good or bad? And if it's bad, I need to run. Yeah. It's going to be bad if you think if the outcome is going to be bad, you're going to run. That's the fundamental driver of this fear imagination, because, as a protective, we're we're species of self-preservation. We're looking constantly. That's actually subconsciously, we're not taking in all the data points that we're observing. We're taking the data points that might endanger us so that we can run or we can fight. That's really what it is. You're filtering out information on survival data, right? And so subconsciously we are built to think that what if it goes wrong? It's a subconscious thing. Man, if this goes wrong, I'm going to die. Your brain is wired like that. What if this goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? And you're wired that way, and so you develop these imaginary fear scenarios in your head that prevents you from executing. And so to overcome this, again, you got to run in the direction of the fear. Talking about business, not like if there's a guy with the gun, don't run to the guy with the gun, run the other way. But you run to the thing, that failure, that embarrassment, that who cares what other people think. You go in that direction to overcome the fear. And so the other way to do this is, as I said, you're wired to think about what if this goes wrong, because that's a self-preservation instinct. You got to rewire your brain to think, what if it goes right? What if I'm ever afraid of I go do it and I'm right? And that leads to another, what if I do it again and I'm right again? And I'm right, and I'm right, and I'm right. That builds confidence. And confidence and experience and the reps helps you overcome that fear instinct. Trust me, I get scared a lot too. I mean, I'll be quite honest with you. I will walk into a room nervous or anxiety about something. But then in my mind, I think of, well, if I don't walk in the room, how things can go bad. So it's actually the fear of the opposite direction, right? And I also think, man, what if I walk into this room and I meet that right person that's going to get me to whatever deal I need to get to? So things that I get anxiety about, I actually, again, think about what the downside of if I don't do it, but also the upside if I do it. What if they go right? And what goes wrong if I don't do it? So I'm like double enforced to go do it, double reinforced to go do things that I'm afraid of. And everybody's afraid. Anybody that you talk to that says, man, I'm no fear on anything, they're lying to you. No, I don't get anxious at all. They're lying to you. There was a recent clip with Michael Jordan as the NBA season started. He hadn't picked up a basketball in like months or years or something like that. And he had this little anecdote, production note. I'll send this to you. There's a little anecdote where, he rented a house at the Ryder Cup. He's an avid golfer. And, they did the transaction or whatever. And is there anything, introductions to the house? And the guys, and Michael's like, hey, is there anything else I can, do for you before, I take over your house for a week? And the guy's like, yeah, if you don't mind, I've got a basketball court in my estate. And if you don't mind shooting a free throw for my son, that would be fantastic. And Michael Jordan, the great Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time, 6-time world champ, 6-time finals MVP, all the greatest ever. Forget LeBron. Kobe's a close one. Forget LeBron. Kobe, Jordan. He's like, man, do I really need to shoot the free throw? And it's like, man, my son would really love to see you shoot. And Michael Jordan self-admittedly said that's the most nervous he's ever been to shoot a free throw. Not even in a game, not in a tournament, not in the finals. It's a free throw shot in front of a kid in somebody's backyard. And he says he hadn't felt that anxiety in such a long time. The greatest basketball player of all time was nervous shooting a free throw, a casual free throw, right? So if somebody says they don't have any fear or anxiety, as successful as they are, lying. Walk the other way, don't believe anything they say. But my point is that you got to get over these fear things. Just like I got over sticking my leg over the edge of you know how I got over that issue? I started, when I went to bed as a kid, I started with my leg hanging over the edge. Let's just see what happens. Get my leg cut off, yeah, whatever. I got another one. That as a kid. So I started the night with my leg and my arm hanging over the edge. And guess what? I woke up with my arm and my leg. I'm like, this is So overcoming fear is a critical factor in your success. And just remember that all that fear, just like when I was a kid with the boogeyman under the bed, it's all up here in your head as far as being successful, going after your goals, expanding beyond your comfort zone, stretching your limits, building more confidence, building more credibility, building that block 1% better every day or more. That's all about running into whatever you're afraid of doing and just doing it. Whatever you're afraid of saying, just saying it. Whoever you're afraid of meeting, just meet them. Because the worst thing that's going to happen is you live to see another day. Unless you actually die, that's the only failure that we can't recover from. Otherwise, any other failure, any other embarrassment, we just live to see another day, man. And that's in the past now. I've failed plenty of times. I've been embarrassed plenty of times. I've said the wrong thing in the wrong place, the wrong person, a lot. And you know what? It happens. It's in the past. We keep going. That's it. What's the worst thing that can happen? You see him again. Hey, man, remember when you said that stupid thing? Yeah, man. I was young back then. I didn't know what I was talking about. Okay, we move on. That's how it works, y'all. You can't be afraid of taking that step. And whatever's holding you back, that fear on Halloween, just like the ghosts and all these other things, all in your head. So, Halloween, y'all get this episode. Be safe out there, trick-or-treating with your kids, whatever. If you're partying, stay safe. If you're driving, don't drink and drive. But Halloween is a nice time to just, play characters. But you know what? It's one night, and we're done. And in this podcast, we actually amp it up leading into the fourth quarter. So be ready, y'all, because we're amping up and making 26 even better than 25. And we're going to talk a lot about that towards the end of the year. So with that, I want to end the episode as I end every episode, as I end my day, which is when I put my head down on my pillow at night before I go to bed, close my eyes, fall off to sleep, I thank God and the universe one more time for an opportunity to hopefully have been great, hopefully have inspired one person. Hopefully today that's you. And with that, I want to thank you all for listening. And if I've inspired you this Halloween Eve, you got to share the show because you owe me a karmic debt, and I do not want that debt. Please do share the show or send me money because if you're knowledgeable, share the show. That's how we grow. Be great today, but be even more grateful. And I'll look forward to bringing you another episode next week. Let's go.